Hey guys, I'm Morthadon, and we are back for Attack on Titan. Almost forgot the name of the show. Season 3, Episode 21. So, I did change my audio system back to what it was before. I got rid of the, really intense noise suppression I had, because I think it worked really well when I talked normally. But I noticed in some of my videos when I was getting excited, it would skip or really try to muffle me out because I was getting into a higher pitch. I tried tweaking it, it didn't work well. Either way, with that, I just decided to go back. So we're back to the old system, which means there might be some humming in the background, but I think I managed to cancel most of it. I think this system works good enough. I don't think there's too much humming. I cancel out most of it with a noise gate and everything, and it allows me to, if I do get excited during a show at a hype moment or something and I get a little louder, it makes it so my mic doesn't peak out and just crash, and you don't hear, there was one time where I got really excited and you didn't hear a word I said. All you saw was my lips were moving and I was really excited looking. So anyway, also about Attack on Titan, last episode was insane, and I'm about to go on a rant, so I do timestamps if you guys do not want to hear me talk for a little bit, but there's just some things I have to say about the last episode, and I know I try to keep these beginnings as short as I can, but I want to say some of the things that are on my mind. So, one, by the way, I'm watching a reaction for season 1 and 2, all the way up to where obviously I'm not going where I haven't seen yet, but I'm catching up after I started it after I watched that last episode, and there are so many little things to think about. We now know that the Titans that are in the walls are being used as a nuke of hey, if you come after us, I'm gonna release all of these guys. And which I don't know how they're supposed to get from the island to the mainland. I guess all the Titans in the walls would just fight whoever comes and approaches. I don't know if he really means they'll get to the mainland or whatnot, but anyway, with that, that was obvious, right? Where I'm going with it is that means that from the beginning, the king was concerned about forces, maybe not even just Titan forces, maybe a military force coming from the mainland to them to fight them. Which, when you watch back, the cadets are trained for hand-to-hand combat, and in those episodes they're questioning, why do we even have to learn this? And I chalked it up to well, I'm sure there's some petty crime that you can deal with as a soldier within the walls, right? But I wonder if the entire military hand-to-hand combat system was set up just in case these people from the mainland come with a military force of just people, and then they know how to hand-to-hand fight them. That was one thing I thought of while we were going through. Two, during the scene when Rhina, Berthold, and Annie got caught by Marco and they got Marco killed, didn't they say something to Annie about, hey, if you want to be one of us, you need to follow us, or you need to do this, or you need to suck it up, or something like that? But I believe it was something along the lines of, do you want to be one of us? And that makes me wonder if Annie was it could be one or the other, but it makes me wonder if Annie was Eldian and Rhina and Berthold are Martean, and they're basically oppressing Annie in a way, but Annie is trying to do this job for a better life for her and her father. I believe it was father or grandfather, right? That was kind of talking to her at the end of season 1. But yeah, that was another thing I thought about, because it made it seem like Annie was different from them, and at the time I didn't know what we know now. So I wonder if that's what's going on there. The reverse could be true too. Rhina and Berthold could be Eldian and she could be Martean, and she for some reason wants to be one of them. But I feel like the Eldians wouldn't be the ones attacking the previous Eldian king, although they did seem angry that they did see angry that the king ran away, right? Like some of the Eldians seem mad that he just kind of like left some of them behind and just like came to his own little paradise. Also, it kind of explains why they move the best soldier, or they want the best soldiers for the inner walls, you know, because they don't care about the scouts and exploring out. Hell, they probably do their best to oppress them the best they can, because I'm surprised, like, what would they have done if the scouts made it and, like, found out that this was an island they were on? Right? Like, and then if they, like, built a boat and took off on the boat, like, what would they do then? Right? So, like, they kind of got lucky that the scouts were incompetent enough that they didn't make it to the edge, right? And that would have been kind of like a big reveal. So, anyway, um, God, there's so much more I thought about going through the show again. Oh, the coordinate and stuff like that. I wonder if there's just one. There was something I've always just assumed there was one. But what if, like, because we know there's a bunch of titans that made the walls. Are they all sentient titans? Which means are there more than just 9 sentient titans? But that leads me to question, does that mean the ones that are the original 9, like, are those the coordinate? I don't know. Also, maybe the coordinate is just one. Maybe it's like, you know, Ymir's soul was like split into 9 or whatever. What if there's a way to put it all back together, all 9 combined into one? We had when Aaron was fighting Annie, their titans started to like merge, and I thought that was like Annie doing something. But what if that was another ability of Aaron's? What if he was like absorbing Annie into him, and he would have like, maybe Annie is one of the 9 as well, and he could have like absorbed that power and eventually absorb like all the powers and become that Ymir Fritz original Titan again before it got split. I don't know. There's so much more I thought of. I should have written things down, but I'll talk about them as I like think of them again. So we'll just jump into it. Sorry for the long rant. It was just so much. Last episode was wild, guys. It just, there's so much to talk about when it comes to that episode. So let's jump into this one and watch what happens. We're gonna start here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Oh man. Man, he knows that much. God. Okay, another thing I was thinking about, I gotta talk fast here. Uh, this is also just one area's conflict, right? If there's a whole world out there, now I didn't look at the map well enough to identify whether this could be like a real place. Like, is the geography based off our world, or is the geography different, you know? But we have the whole Eldian Martean conflict, but is there like a United States or something like that? Or like other countries out there, you know? Like they set up that Mikasa is Oriental, you know, so she's some Asian descent. So that means there might be like in Asia, you know, or at least that type of people. So like what are those societies like? Do they know what's going on with these titans, you know? Or is this just like a localized conflict and the rest of the world is just living peacefully? I don't know. It's crazy. Um there was one more. Oh yeah, Ymir. I want to know more about that because her name. At first, I thought she was given that name when she was like made a goddess or whatever. But at one point, she said she embraced the name she was born with, and that Krista should, Historia should too. Which means she was born with the name Ymir. So I wonder if she was born like, is she some kind of descendant or the Attack Titan? Is that the one we just saw, or is that a different one? Also, we're getting we're getting more of this now, huh? Oh, Aaron, one of the 9. Hmm. Doctors make good spies. Hmm. That's we've heard full use. Ugh. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Is his memory loss a lie to be a spy as a doctor within the walls? Damn, he groomed him in a way. Damn. Jeez. Hmm. So how did he get the power of the 9? Hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah. They've talked about the founding titan again. Oh. Damn. What? Sorry, guys. I was trying to get all that information down so I remember it for later. But yeah, that's. Whoa. What? Coordinate. Hmm. Damn. Oh, interesting. Hmm. Ugh. Oh, that voice acting. Man, so much information. I love it. This is how he gets the photo with him. Hmm. Damn. Oh, his eyes look so much like Aaron's right there in the moment. Like, so Ymir probably doesn't have that much longer either. I. Oh. The Attack Titan. Damn. So that should be the one that Aaron has, right? Wait, what? So he's like living those memories and like murmuring about them while like re-experiencing or experiencing them. I like their longer like military coats. Mikasa does not look good. Like I don't just mean like normally she's very glamored up, but like I don't mean like just because her hair is a mess or whatever. I just mean like she just doesn't look like depressed. But maybe she heard about the 13 years. Ah. Wait, how did they deliver it? Damn. Yeah, they're gonna feed her. What's her Titan? We never saw any like special power, right? What? Okay, so she has some kind of the whole connection shit. What the heck? Yeah, she has some kind of power. Maybe it has to do with the bloodline. We've seen this memory flash from Historia before. So the ability to take away memories, but also the ability to, like, harness people's memories in a way. She really is just the queen now. Oh, okay, not yet. Alright. Hmm. Yep. Oh, that's so scary. So they did say ruled the world. Hmm. Oh. Okay. So. Damn. Hmm. Okay, so Aaron is the founding titan. Huh. Okay. Wait. Is it? Yeah. Is it because he made contact with her, who was royal blood? Hmm. I guess he doesn't know for sure yet, so he doesn't want to say it, or is he trying to keep it quiet? They keep such a fucked up thing. Holy shit. Hmm. Ah, he's worried about Historia. Huh. Whoa. Wait. I just got chills. What? What? I don't... What the fuck? What? I... I don't... I don't know. That is it for episode 21? Man, like, they were putting a bunch of pieces together. The show is like, okay, here we go. We're gonna sit in this courtroom, right? And we're gonna, or this, like, meeting room or whatever it's supposed to be. And we're gonna lay it all out. Aaron's the founding titan. He can do this. He can, my baby can harness the power. Like, we're all, you know, us against the world. We're a race of people that took over the world, and now we're living in peace, but people want to kill us. Like, they just laid it all out for us. And then at the end of the episode, they're like, you thought you got a lot of questions to your answers? Well, guess what? I'm gonna give you some more questions. What? Like, how would the owl know about Mikasa and Armin? Now, the only thing I can think of is these memories have been something that Aaron is recollecting, right? So what we're seeing is what Aaron is kind of reliving. So did it somehow, like, insert Aaron's memories into that memory somehow, you know? So, like, did that not really happen in the past? Did he actually say, you know, save Mikasa and Armin? Or, and it was just Aaron, like, somehow inserting his memories, but it seems more impactful than that. It doesn't seem like it would just be like, oh, this is a poetic thing of, like, Aaron's memories just being a bit jumbled. It feels like something more prophetic. Like, is there some kind of, like, prophecy? Like, did did one of did one of the previous people who had that power somehow, like, see the future and know about Mikasa and Armin? Because they grew up as kids. Unless we're gonna get, like, insane with it and, like, even Aaron's memories are wrong somehow. And, like, the memories of their childhood was never real, too. But it's like, we've seen Mikasa and Armin as young kids growing up. So there's no way that back then they would even have been born yet for someone that he said, like, those aren't my memories. What the fuck? I don't know what to do with that. I have no idea. I'll have to think on that one, guys, and we'll have to get back to it. But there was so much other information this episode. Okay, so I guess maybe Aaron's name was given to him after this guy then. Uh I wonder, it seems like at some point either Grisha had his memories the entire time and he never really lost them, because he said, like, aren't I not gonna remember this? So, like, either he got them back before he got to the wall, or he never lost them or whatever, or at some point while in the wall he got them back. I wonder when that was. But obviously at some point, because he fulfilled his mission, he went and, like, got the power of the founding titans. So when we saw at the beginning, I didn't realize. I guess I'm sorry about that, guys. I know they talked about the Founding Titan. I know they talked about Eren having it, but I don't know why. Something about the Founding Titan made it seem like it was something different. But I guess it's not. It's just the Titan that had like the power to be able to like erase memories, I think, and stuff like that, um and all that. But okay, and it was also when it's given to someone of the bloodline, the will of the like original king who wanted to like create this peace like overpowers that person, right? So they if they were to give it to even if they were to give it to Historia by sacrificing Eren, she might not even be herself anymore, and then we'll just get plunged back into a another 100 years of peace after he erases everyone's memory and retakes control or whatever. But okay. So the way they talk, it does seem like there are only 9 Titans that can be controlled. Now, okay, so the original king probably had this ability that Eren had to control Titans. That's probably how he got them all to line up to make the wall. So all of those Titans that are in the walls are mindless ones, I would assume, right? Um, each one of the 9 have a name. Now, we've I wonder if the ones that have been named so far have been named by the people in the walls, right? So is that their actual names? I guess that's where it gets a little complicated, right? Because like obviously we call the Colossal Titan the Colossal Titan, but that's because the people in the walls called it the Colossal Titan. What if it's like called like the Big Titan, or something, the Gigantic Titan, the Enormous Titan, and they're just like, we're gonna have to learn like a new name eventually. But no, I mean for story purposes, it's probably gonna conveniently be that they got it right the first try and it's called the Colossal Titan. But yeah, so we know of the Colossal Titan, the Armored Titan, the Beast Titan, if we assume all of those are their actual names, and then Eren is apparently the Attack Titan, but Eren is also the Founding Titan. That's where it gets a little bit confusing. Because Grisha took because Grisha should have taken the Attack Titan from him. That's what allowed his hands to heal and him to like make it to the wall without getting hurt and make it inside and all that. And then he used that power to take the Founding Titan's power. So he has the Attack Titan's power and the Founding Titan's power. So some of the powers seem physical and some of the powers seem kind of magical, right? Like obviously the Armored Titan, like if Eren were to have been the one to eat the Colossal Titan, would he be the Attack Titan, the Founding Titan, and the Colossal Titan? I mean, it's kind of like what I said in the beginning of the episode where it felt like they were like merging somehow with Annie. Like maybe you just eat the people and you can just get all the powers anyway. I don't know. But interesting. So it's just so much information. God damn. We also don't know what like Ymir's power was, right? Like she looked the exact same as she did when she was a just roaming Titan for 60 years. She then ate Reina and Bertholdt's friend, who was whatever Titan that one was, and got that power, but we don't know what that power is. Like what was the special ability of that one. It's really weird how some of them are like physical. Like what's special about the Attack Titan, right? Like the first one, all we saw him do was just attack things. Is it just like, I mean, it's in like good physical shape, is it just like a brawler? Is it just like Eren in the beginning was very rage mode, right? Like there's that moment where he's like, "I'll devour you," Like there's a lot of times where he just gets very angry in it. So is it just like a berserker where he enters like a state of rage, you know? Whereas it's just not something as physical as like the Armored Titan. But yeah, I really wonder what Ymir's power was. Really interesting. So But if that is true, I think I did this before, but I'm going to do it again. We have Attack Titan. We have Founding Titan, which is Founding Titan one of the 9? Which both of them are in Eren right now, if that's the case. We have the Beast, the Colossal, the Armored, whatever Ymir is. Which leaves, if I'm not mistaken, 3 sentient titans that we don't know about. And what's crazy is apparently, like, all of the Eldians are somehow connected together in some way. So it does make it sound like, once again, I questioned last episode. I was like, at the end when he was on the wall saying like, all we have to do is inject you guys with this and it turns you into a Titan. Is it only Eldians that are capable of harnessing this power? So does that mean all of the Titans that the Marteyans have on their side, are they just people, like Eldians, that have been brainwashed to fight for the Marteyan cause? Or, I shouldn't say brainwashed, because maybe they truly believe in the Marteyan story, you know? It's really hard, because we haven't seen those events, like, of the past, so we don't know what it was, right? Did Ymir and all of the, what they call them, they called them the not descendants, not disciples, the not followers, subjects of Ymir? Is that what it was? Was it subjects of Ymir? Um they all like took control, like the rumor is they all took control of the world and like oppressed everybody else and like used them for breeding and all these terrible things, but we don't know if that's true. We don't know if the flip side is true, where they were like, you know, trying to bring peace to the world and things like that. We have these like 2 stories that we have no idea. So we don't know, like, are the Eldians really the bad guys? Were the Marteyans just like jealous of their power and wanted to like overthrow them even though they were trying to create peace? Like, did the Marteyans actually create the war? And now they're like trying to brainwash other Eldians into believing that their own bloodline is shit, and that's how they're convincing people like Rhina and Bertholt and stuff to fight on their side. Am I wrong? And can Marteyans somehow get the power? Like, can it somehow be passed on to a Marteyan? And that's what they are? I don't know. But it makes it like this episode once again made it almost sound like only Eldians can harness this power, only Eldians can become Titans. Eldians have this somehow connection, like you know, like branches of a tree, like all, or like roots of a tree, like all coming together, you know, like it kind of reminds me of like the tree in like Avatar: The Last Airbender, in like that swamp episode where like everything was connected and like one thing hits a root way off in the distance and like the whole swamp can like feel it, kind of thing. But they said like everyone is like a part of the coordinate, which is interesting. That like leads towards the founding Titan. That was one of the things they said. All Eldians are connected, and like somehow they even said like the Titan flesh can like travel through these like magical, like, this is the first time that I was like, okay, this is definitely something that's much more magical than it is science. I mean, maybe they do find a way to explain it in science, like maybe Eren gets, you know, memories from all the way back at the very beginning of like Ymir and finds out that, you know, it was, you know, it wasn't some like weird demon like gremlin thing that gave Ymir this power. It was just like an injection, you know, and science did it. Who knows? Maybe we'll find that out. But one thing that is unclear to me, if it does somehow end up being science in the long run, they need to find a way to explain that if a one of the 9 do not pass it on and they die after their 13 years of having it, a child born of Eldian descent will just be given it. Which, that just seems so much more magical now than anything else this show has shown. Like, don't get me wrong, obviously it's pretty magical people are turning into Titans and they have these powers, and Eren can somehow, like, control them with his mind, and they can erase memories with their minds and stuff like that. Like, obviously there's a lot of magical things, but I wasn't sure if it was, like, it still could be some kind of science. But this just seems like, no, it's some kind of magic. Um, to me, anyway. Which begs the question once again. I really wonder where that, like, how that original Titan, like, came to be. They, at one point, I think the owl said that it was like she found, like, the. He didn't say fountain of youth. I akined it to a fountain of youth in my own mind, but, like, touch the origin of life or something like that. He said something along those lines. And it just made me think, like, that's kind of ironic considering the fact that they can only live 13 years. You know, like, you would think, like, if you, like, if this was some, like, godly power, it would make you, like, immortal. Which I actually thought the Titans lived a long time. Like, it seems like, which is really funny because the Titans do live a long time. If you get turned into a mindless Titan, you live a long time. But if you're a sentient Titan, you do not live a long time. That's really interesting. We know that because Ymir lived for 60 years in her Titan form before she became a sentient Titan. Which we know that Eren has 8 years left, assuming we don't, like, find some, like, workaround, but I don't know if we will. Uh, but yeah, so, man, okay. Ymir must not have much time left, but I don't think it really matters too much anyway because it seems like they're about to feed her to someone else to harness that power. I wish we got to know the power though. That is one thing, unless somehow it will be obvious to us. Maybe it will be, I don't know. But that's like one of the big things for me, right? Is the we don't know what power that was, which means if Ymir does get eaten and we see that sentient Titan again, we're gonna have no idea that that's the Titan, right? And so it's not really gonna be special when it shows up. Like, they could have made that so much more emotionally impactful. Like, I have to wait to see what they do with it, you know? But if we knew what Ymir's power was, and then we saw that Titan show up again and it wasn't in Ymir's form, it was in, like, a different form, then we'd be like, oh shit, that's Ymir. That means she's, like, definitely gone. Like, we obviously got the letter here, so we can assume she's gonna be eaten. That might be the last we ever hear of her. But, like, we could have, like, experienced that pain again. Not that I want to experience pain, but, you know, I just feel like from a story writing aspect. But I'll have to wait. I don't want to. This writer has done such a good job with this story that I don't want to just assume that we're not gonna get, like, something like that. The only thing I can think of is somehow if the characters find out that it's Ymir's Titan power, and they're like, oh, or like Rhina shows up bragging, and he's like, oh, this was Ymir. You guys didn't save her, and then she got eaten. This was her. But then it's like the show just telling us, and it's not as impactful as us seeing it ourselves. But anyway. Okay, so Historia obviously has some kind of memory power too. Like, we know that when her bloodline gets the power of the Titans, we're pretty sure they can manipulate memories and, like, en masse, right? But she's obviously, like, she touched that page and she somehow got flashes from, like, all of Ymir's life. Where was that? I kind of want. Is it cheating to look at the images that were shown? I think some of it was stuff we already knew. Also, what does the mid card say? Um, why? Wait, why didn't the text come up this time? Maybe I need to go back a little further. I think it might be the way the subtitles are set up. Well, I don't even normally have subtitles on. So also, they at least Hanji doesn't know that Eren is pulling on past memories yet, right? That's another thing that's kind of weird. They keep talking about Eren like, oh, he's just that age where he's talking to himself or whatever. They said that twice, and it almost feels like it's some kind of, like, code that they're using of, like he knows more than he's saying, and they're just using that as some kind of an excuse. Also, really interesting, this image of Ymir in the beginning with like, is that 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 8, but maybe Ymir is counted as one herself of the 9. The 9 Titans, this power, which surpasses human understanding, sleeps within all subjects of Ymir. The powers and memories of intelligent Titans can be transferred among them along unseen paths to the point at which all such paths meet. The coordinate is the founding Titan. Interesting. There's a part of me that kind of wishes that the founding Titan was something we hadn't found yet. As funny as that is to say. Uh, but like, if that was like a special thing that we had to go on like a mission to discover, and we had to somehow like use Eren as the coordinate to go find it. But maybe there is still something. Like, it still is interesting that the coordinate is the founding Titan. So like, it just makes me wonder if like that there's gonna be something more to that. Like, you need to get the founding Titan to then go find something else, you know? Like, I feel like there might be more to the story. But it also talks about how like the powers and memories of intelligent Titans can be transferred among them along unseen paths. So if that's the case, it doesn't say that the memories are transferred by consuming the previous user. It just seems like its memories are transferred along an unseen path. So does that mean Eren could potentially pull on the memories of like Rhina and Bertholdt and like all the other 9, or can he only pull on the founding Titans memories maybe, and like the 2 Titans he has potentially within him, right? Can he only pull on those memories, or because they're like all connected, can he pull on the others too and get like all of the information, because he's like ends up being like super special. It's really funny because he's like the main character, but he's also not like super special. He's like slowly gaining the special, right? Like, the one that's fated to get this would be Historia, who they're trying to keep it away from at the moment. But you know, it's really interesting. I also don't understand at the end of why does he need to like have a wife and a kid? Right? Why did he say like go in the walls and fall in love? Why is that key to succeeding in his mission? Why does he fail if he doesn't do it? What does that matter, right? Like, it almost, but then, like, the fact that after that they talked about Mikasa and Armin, it almost feels like there is going to be some kind of fate of, like, somehow there's, like, future stuff being seen in the past, and they know that Eren needs to be born to fulfill some kind of prophecy, which is why the owl is like, hey, yeah, you need to go to the wall and you need to go have a kid, because if you don't have this Eren kid who's like, you know, the prophesized one or whatever, then we're gonna have a problem, and like the whole future is gonna be off. So you go do this, you know? I don't know. I don't understand why like love and forming a connection, like he already was like a firm believer in like the Eldians. I don't think he needed, you would think like, oh, like, well, maybe he needs to like find love, like if he was like a Martean, right? And he was like, if he was like Zeke or something, right? Where he's like fully on the Martean side, I could see it being like, hey, this is your mission, you have to go in there and you have to fall in love with one of them and just see that they're normal people, you know? And that could like sway his opinion, but I feel like his opinion is already swayed, so I don't know. I don't know. Definitely fascinating. They definitely, like, that last bit of dialogue really just like threw me for a loop. But yeah, so at one point they did say that the Eldians like ruled the world. So that means that whatever, I don't know how many races there are. Is there literally only Eldian and Martean in this entire world? Or are there other races that were oppressed by Ymir that also, because like the way Hanji said, obviously she doesn't know for sure unless there's more in the books that we haven't been told yet. Um, she said that like the whole world is against us, you know, like everybody wants, because of the things we did in the past, even though we've been living in peace for 100 years, everyone wants us dead. So it's like, is that just the Marteyans, or are there other races out there that don't look favorably to the Eldians? I'd really love to learn that too. I want to learn more. Like, I know we've already learned so much and I'm happy with what we've learned, but like, I want to know, like, is that everything in the world? I want to meet another faction of people and hear their story, because I bet their story is different from the Marteyans too, because that's just how like stories develop. Like, they glorify them and make them seem like they're the winners. And it almost seems like more time that goes on, they're like more sure that they're like the good guys, right? So anyway, yeah, I'm fascinated, guys. I Every episode has left me wanting so much more. There's such a bingeable show. I need it. Thank you guys for watching. Hit that subscribe. But wait, hold on. No, wait, hold, chill. Wait, what? What? Wasn't there something I said I wanted to go back to other than the mid card? I don't know what it was though. Oh, well, I was gonna go look at the memories and I never did. Um. By the way, Historia's hair is magnificent. But yeah, so she gets the memories with like looking through the eyes of this one. It looks like she's looking through the eyes at like Berthold, I think. Oh my god, super flashes of like her as a kid, her being like tied up and everything, which I assume is after she was they like ratted it out saying she's like got the blood of the goddess or whatever. Her being kicked off the wall, turned into a titan. There's also this like whole like digital effect too, which I don't know if that's just an effect for the show to be like shown as memories, or if there's like gonna be something more to that effect. But it might just be an effect of like these are memories. It shows the pathways. It shows Ymir running as a Titan, getting buried. These are all things we saw from Ymir. Ymir eating the person, the friend, showing the path again. I really wonder if that stuff in the sky, is that like a metaphor or is that literal? Like, was like it almost looked like it was leading Ymir somewhere. Is that something that only Eldians can see? Like, was Ymir able to make it like find the walls or whatever because she like followed this pathway that she could see in the sky? Is it literally a thing in the sky she sees, or is it just a metaphor for like the connection between everyone? But it's really interesting that when she became a human again, she's like tearing up, and it's almost like she has these realizations. So I wonder if she like got um any kind of like memories and stuff that made her like realize more of the truth of the world after she became a intelligent titan. Also, shit, I want to go back a second. Um, there's one scene of someone standing. It's the same kind of ritual, right? We saw Eren in that same position, tied up. Yeah, so we see her like chained up. It's not in like a whole like ice crystal place. It's in a different place, of course. Um, which is where they're, and we see someone standing in front of her. I don't recognize the person standing in front of her, but I wonder if that's supposed to be the guy who is going to be taking her power, right? I guess that's all we get. Okay, it really wasn't much, but it's more about Historia being able to see it than anything else. But we've had Historia have that like little jolt of lightning and get like some memory flashes, right? I think it happened during the time she like killed her father's Titan, like that form, when she like cut that little hunk of meat and became the one that like saved the town and everything. Um so I think she was the one. I think she got like flashes then too, where she flashed to like her father's life a little bit too, right? So yeah. I don't know if that's the only time. I'll have to try to keep an eye out for my rewatch. I can't think of it happening anytime in season 1 and 2. I just got done reactions to season 1 and 2. But I'll have to try to see if it happens any other time other than that one time with her father, and then this time here as I go through watching some reactions of season 3, or the start of season 3 anyway. Um, which in fact we only have one more um one more episode in the season, which is crazy. I know there's like movies at some point, right? Like, isn't the show like had a couple? I need to look into that. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong, or maybe they were just some really long episodes or something like that. Either way, I need to make sure that I get like the watch order right. I don't want to like miss something and like just jump into season 4 when there was like something in between I was supposed to watch or something like that. So I'll take a peek at that too. But anyways, yeah, I think there was something in the reaction where I was like, I'm gonna go back and look at that, but I never wrote it down, and I don't remember what it was at this point. Um, it was like even before, I don't know. That's really interesting with like the ability to, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe it was just Ymir's flashes in Historia's mind that I thought about going back to at some point, and then I just forgot that that was it. But yeah. Alrighty, guys, that's gonna be it for me. I want more info. I just need to leave so I can hibernate until I can watch the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed. Check out my Patreon if you want to see more. There's 2 episodes ahead through the early access tier for this show and other shows that I do on my channel. There's also the Patreon show tier where you can get shows that aren't even released yet. The rest of Freerun that isn't released yet is on there. Solo Leveling Season 1 and 2 is on there. Dan to Dan Season 1 and 2 is on there. I'll be starting a new show very soon too. Or well, I guess I've already started it, but the first episodes of that will be coming as well. And for live action, The Expanse is on there as well. So all kinds of extra stuff that isn't on my channel. If you guys are interested in any of those shows, check that out and support me. I very much appreciate it. If not, that's fine too. Links in the description should be popping up on the screen, and I will see you in my future reactions. Bye-bye.